Is your company safe on purpose or on accident? At the beginning of this year, I met with a company. They came to us here at Basic Safe and they told us that they had had a fatality at their business, which is not something that anybody likes hearing. It's not something that anybody wants to deal with. The crazy thing that they told us, and it's something that we hear all the time, was that prior to the fatality, if we had talked to them and asked them if they were interested in a safety management software or if they were interested in working to improve their safety, they would have told us that they were perfectly safe. Their company did not need to improve their workplace safety. They hadn't had an incident in 15 years. They didn't have any reason to believe that they needed to improve their company safety, which is something we get all the time. Generally, we talk to companies and they say, no, we are perfectly safe. We don't need anything. Or we're safe enough. We don't need anything. Right. And I think what a lot of people miss is that you can always improve workplace safety. There is not an upper limit to safety. It can always be better. What had happened was this guy was had been working for them for many years. He was actually going to retire the next week. Like he had already planned this out. He was retiring. He was filling in for someone else in the company. He was not trained properly to do what he had been doing, and they didn't have any record to know that he hadn't been trained properly. But because they had never had an incident, they weren't worried about it. So this gentleman who was working, he went in to clean a piece of equipment. He saw it was dirty. He was just doing what he felt like was his duty. It was something that was a noble thought. But in the process of trying to clean this piece of equipment, he did not lock out the equipment. He was not familiar with working with the equipment, and he was crushed. Not something that any business owner wants to walk into. It's not something that any employee wants to walk into. It's not something that any family deserves or any worker deserves. And it was entirely avoidable. The thing that companies need to do is be safe on purpose. Just because you have not had an incident, or maybe because you haven't had one recently, does not mean that you are not susceptible to incidents, especially if you're not taking steps to measurably improve your workplace safety on a regular basis. Always strive for improvement. If you are not being safe on purpose, then you cannot prevent accidents on purpose. If you are safe purely by chance, if your employees are currently safe purely by chance, they're safe on accident. And so someone can die on accident. So take the time, invest in safety, protect your workers, protect yourself, and make your company better. Don't be safe on accident. Be safe on purpose.